Hi, I'm Rebecca Winter, founder of Strong Mama Yoga, and I'm here today to talk to you about doing twists while you are pregnant. So, there is a myth out there that pregnant yogis should not do twists ever. And I'm here to delve into that and show you several safe and effective twists that you can practice during pregnancy. So, where did this myth come from? I think it came from a lot of misinformation. Um, we can't do closed twists during pregnancy, which are twists that put pressure directly on the abdomen, but we can do open twists. So we're going to explore the difference between the two. The easiest thing to remember is the reason you can't do closed twists during pregnancy is frankly, you're physically not able to. Most closed twists involve moving the body in a way that would put a lot of pressure onto the uterus. And women who are at a stage in pregnancy where that would cause an issue physically can't get into those positions. Another thing to remember is, and this is for people who are more teaching yoga and may not have experienced pregnancy themselves, is that the uterus isn't pressing directly on the baby. There is a layer in between of amniotic fluid that the baby is in. So you can imagine that the baby is floating in sort of a water balloon during the entirety of pregnancy. Now, near the end of the third trimester, or for some of us with larger babies, even going into the third trimester, um, that balloon does feel a little bit smaller. You know, we can really feel features in baby, feel baby moving around, but there is still that nice layer of amniotic fluid between the outside, our skin, and the actual baby. So I think some people are nervous that if they do even a little bit of a twist, that that's going to put a lot of pressure on baby, and that's just not the case anatomically. So when we talk about closed twists are positions like, for example, a seated closed twist. I can have a foot over my knee, grabbing hold of my knee, and trying to twist here. So there isn't much space between my abdomen and between another part of my body, in this case, my leg. So it is physically closed. I'm pressing body part to body part. Now, if were in my first trimester, or if I wasn't showing much in my second trimester, I might still be able to get into this position. And as long as it feels comfortable in my body, I would tell my students, go ahead and do it. There is no known cause between a twist like this and any sort of injury or harm to a baby. And again, they're inside of a little water balloon, inside of our uterus, inside of our abdomen. So there are several layers of protection, making sure that baby is staying safe. But once I get more into my second trimester and into my third trimester, I physically can't get into this position. So it's easy to understand as a yoga teacher, I would never teach a twist like this during a prenatal class. It would exclude a lot of my students. So let's look at an open twist that we can do while seated. I'm going to go ahead and prop my hips up again on a block because I prefer to take my twists that way. Um, I feel like it's a little bit of a better hip position, but you are always welcome to sit flat if that's more comfortable for you. So now I can look at an open twist, inhaling up and twisting out. Now here, there is no other body part between my abdomen and this open space of the twist. These types of twists are lovely during pregnancy. They really aid in digestion, as they aid in digestion for those who are not pregnant. So that little movement, putting a little bit of pressure on our small and large intestine, a little bit of pressure on the stomach, can also help those smooth muscles, aiding in digestion. It also can just be a really nice way to create some space. So I'm opening up through my low back, through my ribs, up into my mid back as well. So during pregnancy, we are kind of fighting to have more space in our bodies, especially as baby gets bigger, our organs get pressed up into into our rib cage, and we can start feeling like we're not able to take deep breaths. Our digestion slows down considerably. So these nice open twists are a way to help create additional space in the body. And we might find that we can take some deeper breaths, and we might find that it aids in constipation, which also becomes an ongoing concern during our pregnancies. So that's a great seated twist that you can do. Let's look at some other open twists standing. So again, a lot of these are simple. They're twists that we teach often in our classes and maybe take for granted. So one of my favorites to do is just a nice forward fold twist. So I'm getting into my forward fold here. My feet are hip distance or wider. In pregnancy, we talk about widening our stance. So it's fine for you or your students to have your feet as wide or even wider than the mat. Then I'm going to place a hand either in the center of my mat or up on a block, depending on my flexibility, and go ahead and lift one hand up high. So you'll see there is nothing in between my abdomen and the air, and I can have a nice open twist here. So now I'm getting the benefits in my upper body, my upper back, my neck, my shoulders, and I'm still getting all of that nice digestive assistance that we get from all of our twists in yoga. We can also take this into our wide-legged forward fold. So this is another one. I do a lot of squats in my prenatal classes to help build some strength, especially in the pelvic floor. So you can also segue a twist in when taking a break in a nice forward fold. Great. So coming out of that, we can talk about more strength building twists as well. So one of the reasons I really like to incorporate twists in my prenatal practices is while we can't do a lot of work with the rectus abdominis, because as the belly grows, the rectus abdominis, what we sometimes refer to as our six-pack abs, they start to separate. Some separation is normal. Some women experience a lot of separation to the point that they get a diastasis recti. I have a whole other video on that that you are welcome to go watch on my channel. But we want to avoid putting any additional pressure on the very center of that rectus abdominis. But what we can still do to strengthen the core during pregnancy is focusing on our oblique and our transverse abdominis. The twists are very helpful with the obliques. They can also be very helpful with the transverse abdominis, especially if we incorporate some pelvic floor work in while we're performing our twists. So let's look at a couple other basic twists. So during pregnancy, I do still often have students here in a kneeling position, and we can come up into our flow here, opening up through that front hip flexor, which is so nice in pregnancy because we do get a lot of tension in the ligaments here, especially in our round ligaments, which form during pregnancy to help stabilize the uterus. So once again, I can take this to an open twist by placing a palm on the floor and opening up. So nice and simple. I'm going to show that from the other direction as well. So nice and simple here. I do sometimes have people then take it to the next level by wrapping an arm around the back, opening up through that front shoulder a bit more. And then for my yogis who have more strength or are more used to practicing, they can go ahead and lift that back knee as well. Great. So you'll see I'm going to, as my belly gets bigger, I'm going to have my foot wider and wider. So you might say, oh, but it looks like your belly is close to your leg. In my third trimester, I would take that open twist like this. So there should always still be room between the belly and the leg here. Looking at standing strengthening, we can be in our warrior one or our crescent. And those of us who have experienced this in yoga know that one great way to strengthen the obliques is with our little twist. So you can twist over this through the straight leg, or more challenging is twisting towards that bent leg. Those are both perfectly applicable to do during pregnancy. Twisting towards that bent leg might be a bit challenging for some of your moms, especially those who are new to yoga. So, always remind them to practice grace, and they may skip that if that's uncomfortable for them. So the last one that I want to make sure I show is always the star. It's the twist that most of us love to do. And that's going to be that nice open twist on our back. I'm grabbing a bolster because during pregnancy, especially in near the end of pregnancy, so for some of us, it starts in the late second trimester. For some of us, it's not until the third trimester, but it gets harder and harder to keep your legs together. Your hips are widening, your belly is growing. This is a much more comfortable position than this. So when I do my twist, I encourage my pregnant mamas to go ahead and have a pillow or a bolster between their legs. Ideally, you want it to support from the knee down to the ankle. So there are people who will only have a shorter one and they'll do their knees together. But as their ankles then come together, it kind of throws things out of alignment. So ideally, it would be a longer pillow or bolster that goes from the knee down to the ankle. So from here, I can come down to my back. You can watch my video on the safety of performing yoga on your back during pregnancy. You are also always welcome to prop, and in that video I show you ways to prop. But I can just take my nice open twist here. Oh, I could fall asleep here and stay here all day long. And this is just so lovely, especially during pregnancy, because our fascia, our connective tissue that comes around the obliques and the abdomen, tends to get really tight during pregnancy, especially with the weight of the belly. Our muscles want to counteract that by tightening up. So a nice, open, relaxed twist like this, I really feel that all the way through my oblique. I can feel it up into my ribs. I can get some nice pec action. The pecs get really sore during pregnancy as the breasts start to grow and get heavier. So I really encourage you to not skip your open twists during pregnancy. They are just lovely. And this is another one of those twists that really helps create space. The weight of baby moving away from the twist helps stretch that fascia even more. So when women come out of this position, they often feel like they can breathe a little deeper, that their digestion has sped up a little bit, and sometimes they even feel like baby has moved into a better position. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. And if you have any questions, you're always welcome to hit me up on Facebook or through strongmama.yoga. Have a great day.